My ex-boyfriend unknowingly hired my husband's taxi to take me home after we finished making love and blowing goodnight kisses. I have made a terrible mistake in my marriage. I have been married to Steve for 4 years, and until now, our life together was full of love and happiness. Before we got married, we were neighbors. Our families did not want us to be together because we have different religions, but eventually, they accepted our love and allowed us to marry. Steve is a very smart man. He has not found a stable job yet, but he drives a taxi that belongs to a friend of his father. He takes care of us and is a wonderful father to our 2-year-old daughter, Ina. I have a sickness that costs a lot of money to treat, sometimes up to $70,000 a month. Even though I have a job where I earn money at the end of the month, Steve pays for most of our expenses. He says he wants me to help my family in the village since my father has been retired for 6 years. 2 weeks ago, I went to a wedding in another neighborhood with my neighbors. Steve even drove us there in his taxi. After the ceremony, I visited my ex-boyfriend from school. He works nearby and still lives alone. I had not completely cut ties with him, but we had not seen each other much. I ended up in his room. After spending 3 hours together, I made a big mistake. We had hot sex. When I was about to leave, my ex-boyfriend offered to get a taxi for me because he saw that I was tired. Just then, Steve called to ask if he could come pick me up, saying it was hard to find a taxi at that time of night. I told him I had left the wedding and that I was with my neighbors. About 10 minutes later, my ex-boyfriend knocked on the door, saying he found a taxi for me. I exited his room, hugged him, and shared a quick kiss before leaving. I got into the taxi, sitting close to the driver and still whispering sweet things to my ex. As the taxi drove away, I looked back at my ex as he faded into the night. Suddenly, I heard a voice ask me to put on my seatbelt. It was Steve's voice. He was driving the taxi. He had seen everything. I felt the world crashing down around me. My hand was shaking, still holding the $3,000 my ex gave me for the taxi fare. Steve called my name, something he never did since we got married.